Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome to the JJP show. Myself, Jaron, Phil and Jake have started a podcast on mental health, business and fitness. So we're going to take you on our journey of what we do day by day to conquer our fears and stop overthinking. So yeah, give us a wee follow on the JJP show and welcome.
So yeah, welcome to the JJP show. We're here with Jake.
How's it going?
We're going to have a wee chat about, just go talk through his life and talk about a few things that he wants to get out there. Yeah. So Jake,
How's it going, my man?
how are you?
How are you? You well?
Yeah, well. How was Christmas?
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Good Christmas. Different Christmas from usual, but good. Good. Didn't see not a lot of families came over and stuff, but close family. It was good.
It's nice and quiet.
Yeah, good.
So yeah, where do we start with these? These interviews they're mad, aren't they?
I feel like I'm back at school.
Yeah.
Or a job interview.
Yeah. So, where would you like to start? Would you like to start with this child age? Like, where let's go.
We'll go child. We'll go child age. Yeah. So basically, I was from school, obviously, as everyone goes. Orangefield Primary, like yourself.
Yeah.
Yep. Orangefield Primary School. Loved my sport. My dad played Irish League football, so he always drilled me into playing football at a very young age. I wasn't the brightest. Wasn't bright at all, actually. But didn't really like school either. And played football right up until P7. And then obviously I went to high school. But in terms of primary school, it was good. You know, there was not really anything that I could have complained about. But there's not really a lot to talk about in terms of primary school. But what I would like to touch on would be what I noticed would be the mental health at a young age. Obviously, when I was younger, I didn't know that I was very anxious until my mum said to me, obviously I know my anxiety and stuff now, but when I was younger, my mum said to me that I used to sit at the edge of the street and watching all my neighbours play outside, and I was too scared to actually go out and play with them. And when my mum told me that, I was like, geez, like that's crazy that I did that, because I didn't know that I was aware of that. I thought anxiety was a thing that I picked up on in high school, which I'll get into. But yeah, in terms of primary school, man, it was good. It was, yeah, I lived just like a normal kid, you know what I mean? Played football, got into my sports, and didn't like the schoolwork. But
yeah. So
yeah.
How did you get on with your A levels, and like where did you go? Levels, 11 plus, sorry.
11 plus, didn't do it. Didn't do it.
Yeah.
No.
So where did you high school then?
High school, went to Ashfield. My dad, obviously, he was a Hall of Famer in Ashfield, obviously. So he pulled a few strings for me, even though it's not hard to get into Ashfield. But that was my first choice out of three. I lived in the Castlereagh Road, so it's a bit of a distance away. You know, it's closer to Lagan and stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, I got into Ashfield. Ashfield was a very good experience. I was very popular in school, but I always was picked on, like, because it was small, very small. Couldn't defend myself. Always scared to sort of say something, and then someone was to bite back at me. You know, so I was just known as Wee Jakey, and the Irish League footballer's son. Do you know what I mean? That was me. Yeah. A lot of insecurities in school. Do you know, I went through acne as a kid in high school, and I used to cover my fringe with, obviously because I had spots and stuff, and I was scared of what people would say. And then like girls and stuff, like I was scared in case something got out where they were raking me of that, and then I would have been the sort of topic of conversation. Do you know what I mean? But obviously I played football as well in school. But I always had that fear of living up to my dad's hype. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a massive thing. Living up to my dad's hype, the pressure of him being an Irish League footballer was very hard for me to take. But when I was younger, and I played, you know, when I was like first, second year, I played for Sirocco, and I used to I'm a very visual thinker and a visual learner. I used to watch like Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Neymar as a kid, and I used to actually act it out on the pitch at a young age. But then when I got older and I started thinking more, overthinking more, which obviously goes into my mental health sort of side of anxiety, that I was scared that I couldn't perform on an actual pitch, but in training I was known as a training player. When I started at 16, 17, 18. I used to do all the fancy footwork on the training pitch, but then when it came to the match I didn't perform. So yeah, that's my sort of teenage years as such.
So with your dad being an Irish League footballer, how did you handle like the pressure of that? Like you said, you felt pressure from it, and obviously like having your dad and the level he was at.
Yeah.
How did you then handle that yourself? Like how did you take that on board?
Well, obviously when I was 16, 17, my dad he was manager player for Ards. So it was always talked about in school, you know, after the Saturday, oh, your dad done this and that, and you know, why didn't they win this match and whatever, and you know that, and I used to overthink about that. But then when my dad played for the Glens and Linfield and stuff, I was only a wee pup, you know. I don't really think, but apparently he was mega, you know, he was one of the most influential footballers in terms of hate because he went from Glentoran to Linfield, so that was a massive thing. And I think if I had been alive at the stage of like 16, 17 and he'd done that at that age, that would have been very hard for me to take. You know, fair play to him for that's why I would never have been able to done that what he did, go from Glentoran to Linfield. Like that's at that year where it's very the Irish League back then was really big, and fair play to him for doing that. But yeah, I don't think I would have been able to handle it at that age. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's good young then. So in school then, where how did you do your exams? Did you like you academic?
Nah. So when I was 16, my mum worked in a pharmaceutical company called Sangers, and basically I got an offer to work in there. Not summertime, it was after summer. No, I got a summertime job, and then I ended up staying after that. But I basically was working there, and I was earning good money, like the same money that all the other ones were earning. Because in a warehouse at 16, you don't earn minimum wage. You earn what everyone else is earning because you're doing the same work. Yeah. So I was earning like £9 an hour or something at 16, and all my mates working at McDonald's and you know like earning just the thing. And I sort of thought, well, this money game's decent, you know, like getting money's good at that age, you know, being able to go out and buy coats and going out, you know, living, you know, just being, enjoying it basically, yeah. And when I got into school, I was like, I don't want to do coursework for a teacher when I'm earning like good money. Like it's I'm not being like, obviously education's different from everyone, but for my mindset of it was I wasn't in the best class anyway. I was in a not a stupid class, but it wasn't the best class. You know what I mean? And I felt personally that doing the coursework wasn't beneficial for me, and I think I would rather work than not, or just do schoolwork. And I felt as if it was funny because I didn't really have respect for teachers, but I had massive respect for an employer. I was really overcautious and overthought about how I'd done my job because I was scared of what the employers would think. So I always wanted to do the best of my ability for the employers. I've never had a bad feedback from an employer. Every time I've left a job, it's been on good terms. But school wasn't for me. No, school wasn't for me, no.
Yeah. So when you finished school then, what did you do?
So when I finished school, I was 16. No, sorry, I worked in Sangers while I was in school and I didn't like it. Yes, just continued. And then after that, I didn't know what to do, so I went and got a job in Tesco night shift for 2 months. It didn't work out. Then got a call to work in a packaging company. So that was where the journey started for me in terms of how I really understood mental health. And this is where it'll get a bit juicy. Because I worked in a packaging company for 3.5 years. Still respected the employer, went into work every day, 7 to 7. It's a continental shift, so you work 7 days on, 7 days off, or there's loads of different variations of it. But the one I worked in particularly was you work 6 days with a 1 day gap in between. And then after that, you have a couple of days off. Then you're off for a few days and then you work night shifts, okay? After you do that, you get a massive break, okay? So basically, in that job, my mental health was constantly ticking. Like I need to do the best job. I need to make sure that all my pals are around for the next job. I can't be seen to be slacking everything's going through my head. 12 hours of this, right? It's a physical job and a mental job too. So basically, I was really scared of making mistakes. So that really played with my head. I remember after a 12-hour shift, I would have sat in the shower and was just mentally drained. Like I couldn't cope with it. And then what happened was as well, it's not as if when you finish working, you can leave your job. That was not me. There was times where I worked a 12-hour shift. Then I realised that there was something wrong and I stayed an extra hour. I'd done 13 hours and I didn't get paid for it just because I thought I didn't want to leave it to the swap over shift, which is not healthy at all, do you know what I mean? Plus the fact is, when you're off on a 7-day break, which is good. The employers suck you in. They're like, you only work 12 days a month, son, you know, it's an easy job, you know, boom, boom, boom. I have never felt the way I felt in that last job the way I do now, and I work the most random shifts in my fitness industry job and I couldn't be happier. But basically, when I left that job and I was off for 7 days, you get this release, you know, you're off for 7 days, you're buzzing. You get over the night shifts, on day 3 you're sort of buzzing, then you get the weekend hits, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're absolutely buzzing, going out with your mates, boom, boom, boom. You're getting, it was good money as well. So I was out partying and whatever. Then when it hit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was hell, because I knew I'd work on the Thursday. Yeah. And it was just that roller coaster wave, man. It was just all the time, just constant wave of emotions that I couldn't take anymore. And then I was with my past ex-girlfriend at the time as well. I was with her for 3.5 years, near enough the exact same time through that, yeah. So basically, she's the first girl that I've ever been with, and I didn't know if there was anything else out there. I only knew her. Like we were best friends, and then we ended up getting into a relationship and whatever. And I like to call my last relationship 80-20, because I'm not gonna lie, majority of the times 80% of it was negative, in terms of because of the workplace, coming in from a 12-hour shift. Then, you know, she was a beautician, so like she was very flexible, you know, she loved her job, and I was just coming in and didn't want it all. I was wanting to do other things with her, and you know, I just wanted to chill, and she was wanting to get out there and do her stuff. And then the 20% of it was like, you know, a mix of emotions between positivity, who I really was as a person, but just couldn't get it out there through fear. And I was always scared to leave that business as well. But I think when me and my ex-girlfriend split and I got my heart broken, then I really decided that I need to make a change and turn into what I really want to be. Yeah. That's what I'm on that journey now.
Yeah. And what is that journey? Because you've changed a lot around.
Yeah, I have to be fair. When I was in that job, I didn't box. I didn't. My dad, obviously, my dad, Irish League footballer, didn't even know that I liked boxing. There was actually a video that surfaced this Christmas of me hitting the bag, like a wee human sort of dummy toy that my dad got me, like, and I was 5 and I was just blasting away at it, you know what I mean, like proper blasting, and I didn't, and obviously it must have been drilled in me. The universe, like, it's always meant for me, and look at how good it's doing for my mental health now. Yeah. Do you know? But I didn't know it. I wish my dad had told me, son, you know, you were good back in, get into boxing instead of that football crap. Do you know what I mean? Because it wasn't for me. You know, the football was never for me. It's like not making a few people sometimes. You know what I mean?
I thought there was a wonderful thing in it.
Yeah. But like in terms of the boxing, man, basically I was in MSO and I stumbled across a white collar event, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to give this a go. And I went to, the place was in town where we met, and it was full of people that I've never heard of, never seen before. Went on my own, no one went with me. And basically it's a white collar for mental health, or sorry, it wasn't for mental health, it was for cancer research. It was.
What's a white collar?
A white collar, sorry, a white collar is basically a white collar event where you box at a charity event, and people come in their suits and stuff, and it's a very glamorous event for charity. So basically that's it, and I went and boxed in that, and the turning point for me was when my coach said to me that have you boxed before, and I hadn't, and I remember, like, this is how much I've came on. I remember the first time, so what used to happen was you used to train 3 times a week, and then on a Sunday you would have had a sparring day where you just went and sparred with anyone, and I was very light at the time, so I got in first ever spar, like I'm not joking you, first ever spar 3 years ago, and I got absolutely battered. Like I remember taking a photo in my in the bathroom, and my nose was bust and my eyes were all over the place, and and then I went back and had dinner, and I said to my parents, I was like, is this for me? Like, you know, is this really worth it? But I stuck at it, and then the next week I had a couple of good comments, good like feedback saying like my hands were really fast and my footwork was good, and so I just thought, you know, there might be something here, you know. Then so I stuck it out, got through it, done the white collar event, won the fight. The fight was the fella was a stone and a half heavier than me, a lot taller than me as well. And I won the fight. You know, it was a good matchup for me. It was amazing to see me getting in there and knowing how much of an anxious person I am. And I remember a few comments back on Facebook, and people were like to me, "You boxing like wee Jakey from school, like who used to get picked on, you know, boxing, like this is not you. What are you doing this for?" But I don't see boxing's a sport. Boxing's an art. Boxing is the art of hitting and not getting hit, and people, that's where it makes you or breaks you in boxing. You know, there's people that come in there who just like to fight and like to scrap, or there's people that really think methodically about it, yeah. And like really watch the punches, and like when you throw a shot, they're going to throw something back at you, so you can counter and straight right hand or whatever. You know, there's so many different, there's loads and loads of combinations to do in boxing, and all this just excited me. Like I just loved it. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I remember when I was running for football for training, I used to visualize in my head Rocky. I used to play Rocky actually, and I pretended that I was in a camp. So I think it was always drilled to me with the boxing. Do you know what I mean?
Go into that white collar fight, like you're about to step on the ring. How did you have?
Yeah, so the white collar fight was mental in terms of mental health.
Yeah,
so
stone and a half heavier then.
yeah, so well, I was overthinking this the whole day. So I was bouncing, but didn't stop bouncing, mate. I couldn't stop bouncing in the changing rooms. Everyone was like to me, "Will you relax?" I didn't have any nutrition either that day, which was stupid, really bad. But no food at all, mate. No food at all. I'm not joking you. Just water, mate. So, and then I looked out and I could see mum and dad, see everyone, my ex-girlfriend, everyone was there, their parents, my uncle, everyone was there. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose. Like I wasn't in, see the way I am now about manifestation, visualization, I wasn't that like that back then. I was very like in my own head, and all his friends were flipping, blasting the tunes out, and I was just like, oh my God, this is gonna be a disaster. And then reverting back to the football, you know, not performing on the big stage, that went into my head too. And I was like, but then it's you versus you. Yeah. You're not playing for teammates. It's you versus you. It's you versus you, and then you're facing an opponent in front of you. That's it. There's no one else can help you in there. Do you know what I mean? That's the sort of mindset I take out from it. Yeah. But yeah, I went in there and he absolutely battered me a first round. And to be fair, I don't really know how I won that fight. I think I just scraped it by the skin of my teeth. But I won. I think what won me that fight was my technique, and I looked more of a boxer in that fight. Yeah. And then obviously I was going to, after I won the fight, I loved boxing. I was like, right, this is for me now. I wanted to go amateur. I wanted to go amateur for Holy Family. It was a well-known boxing club, and I went to go in there, and he noticed me, and he said, he was watching me shadow boxing, and he said, like, you've got a real talent, son, you know. And then I got in there sparring with people who are way more experienced than me, and they battered me, like proper battered me. And it made me reevaluate again. Plus me and my ex were having a bit of really bad times at that stage. So I was like, I'm just gonna leave boxing completely. But then when me and her split, and I was on this whole journey, I just joined Valentine, which we'll get into in a wee second, and I was in this sort of positive state of mind. I was like, do you know what, I'm just going to go semi-pro, sorry. And I got a call to go do a semi-pro fight, who was my last organisation with, but they were a different company. They wanted more, you get paid and stuff for it, and it was more professional. You fought for belts and stuff, and it was good. And I thought it was a bit of a step up, but I believed in myself. I was in this full new state of mind, more positive. Everything was going really well for me. I was like, do you know what, I'm going to give this a go here. My defence really picked up throughout that camp. My footwork was very good. Everything was going well. My speed, my hands, my training. And then I went and had that fight, and that fight was mental. Like, there was 1,000 people there. I sold 70 tickets, 7 tables worth of mine. He had 70 standing. I didn't see him until the day of the fight, sized him up. He was taller than me, but he was skinnier than me. So me and Zaddy went down then. But Phil, this is from a boy who struggles like mad with anxiety. Do you know, like I'm telling, I really do. Like, I was able to go out there in front of 1,000 people, and actually, do you know what? I was wearing these white and gold flashy boots. I was wearing this black and gold flashy shorts, sponsored by a big company. You know what I mean? I had balls to go out there and just be me. Do you know what I mean? That's good to do that. You know, and I didn't think I had it in me.
You've taken that forward now into what you're doing now.
Oh well, yeah. I've definitely like winning that fight, winning that belt. Obviously, we'll get into Ballantyne. I after my ex-girlfriend, you know, me and her ended, I got into like the fitness industry, and I always said that I wanted to do it, but I never had it in me to do it. And then it's obviously being in that down, I just bit the bullet and got an offer to do that, and I didn't even have a level 2 to my name. Done it while I was in MSO and got the level 2, and I was in there, and all that was just a mental, like going from like a packaging company, a warehouse, hated the job, people were like zombies in there, didn't want to be there, and just watching them and I'm being like, this isn't for me. I'm full of energy. When I'm positive, I'm positive. You know what I mean? I'm full of life, and that job just wasn't for me. So I went then and joined Ballantyne, and like I was watching. I was a member in Ballantyne as well. So like I remember talking to all the fitness staff, and they were telling me all these like, you know, really big words, and like, you know, and I was like, this isn't for me, man. I'm not going to do well in this. But my personality just shined through, and 2 weeks later, after getting that job, I was in a room with 20 people taking a spin class. You know, like I did not have a clue. Like they were more experienced. I've never done a spin class, actually taking part in one. And I'm flipping, giving it rice, flipping going, well, folks, give it a go now. And I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I just flowed with it, and I got feedback, and I got constructive feedback saying that it needed this and needed that. The week after, I went and I done it and I smashed it, and they came to me and you know, congratulated me and said that was a really, really good spin class. Then after that, reverting back to impressing employers, I was cleaning the gym. The people used to call me the bucket man because I used to have a bucket of water, cleaning the treadmills down, cleaning everything. I just wanted to make the best impression ever. They got me from being negative to like positive. So I was forever grateful. I show gratitude to Ballantyne every day. They've really got me out of a hard place, and I thank them every single day for it. So I just wanted to give back, and it's shown in my classes, my positivity, my ambition, my goals, my inspirations to be able to do really well and give a good class, and see the feedback. When I got feedback, that gave me so much happiness. I got Employee of the Month in my first month. Do you know what I mean? So I was really good. And from then it just snowballed. And then, you know, I always had plans. This was pre-COVID. I had plans to have my own boxing school in Ballantyne, and like show people that like if boxing makes me happy, then it can maybe make you happy in terms of fitness. You don't need to go in there and fight. You can do the fitness class. You can learn a wee bit about boxing, about the fundamentals, and it'll be good for your mental health. I'd done that in my first year. 6 months in, I had my own boxing class. I was only 21, and I had Ballantyne's a very established company, and I was selling out boxing classes every week, and that was a massive turning point for me. Like thinking back, I'm like, what do you do? Like, what's this wee man doing? He's only been boxing 2 years, and he's got his own boxing. You know, all these things were running through my head. But I just flowed with it, man, and that's what made me sort of who I am now. I've got my own boxing business that I've just started. Taking clients out, learning the drills. You're a client. You're a client, Majid. Do you know what I mean? And I love seeing people in there hitting pads. Like the endorphin rush that you get after taking a pad session is unbelievable for me and for my client. And then, you know, it just made, I can't even explain how happy fitness makes me feel, mate. You know, like going from such a bad experience with mental health, anxiety, depression, like I couldn't get out of bed in the mornings when I worked in MSO. I had to be in for 7 to 7, and I remember I had to go to bed early because I knew I was up, and I hated that. I just hated that, knowing that I have 12-hour shifts ahead of me. I just really did not like it, and now I could work 15-hour shifts in my own fitness industry and love it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So That's what a journey, eh?
It's crazy, man.
An unreal journey.
That's I mean, you get me talking, I don't stop, like, you know what I mean?
So like now you're smashing out in Ballantyne. You've got McBride boxing
Yep.
there, and you're taking clients and stuff. And you recently you've been doing the 75 hard challenge.
75 hard.
What's that, Jake?
Let's get into that. 75 hard. So one of my best friends, Chris Farag, introduced me to 75 hard. Basically, what 75 hard is, it's a mental toughness test. That you have 5 tasks. You have to drink 4 litres of water a day. You have to do 2 workouts a day. One has to be outdoors. You have to take a progress picture, and then you have to follow a diet, no alcohol, and read 10 pages of a motivational book. Now, it can't be Harry Potter, or it can't be like Simpsons. It has to be something that's going to make you grow as a person. And the pros about that, I'm off my antidepressants. I was on antidepressants last year. I'm off them teetotal. You wake up with adrenaline every day. You're like, right, okay, what goals do I have? The challenge keeps you busy for the whole day, so you do not overthink about stupid stuff, negative thoughts that you don't want to think about. But when you start to, it keeps you engaged. When you start to procrastinate, then you start to visualize thoughts that you don't want to be there. But when you've got that 75 hard in front of you, you've no time to overthink about thoughts. Do you know what I mean? And then the cons would be the water drinking. You really have to focus on, if you wake up in the morning, get a litre into you. If you're doing a workout, make sure you bring your water. The water drinking for me was mental, because there's been times that I've been up 5 times in the night drinking going to the toilet because I've been drinking at too late at night. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it would be tough. Like that's the thing that's going to struggle with.
Yeah, it's mental, man.
Yeah. But yeah, going forward then, like where do you see yourself, and what advice would you give to people with who's suffered any anxiety stuff you've done?
My final point for everyone, folks, is if you have something in mind that you want to do, just do it. Just go for it. Take the risk, because personally, I never in a million years thought that I'd be doing this, but I think something bad has to happen. Something bad has to happen to you to be able to reflect, and then you'll do good things. Do you know what I mean? Just trust the process, trust the universe.
Thank you, Jake.
Yes, thanks very much.
And what a story.
Thanks very much, lad.
Yeah, let's smash this, and give us a follow.
Yes, give us a follow on Instagram, all platforms.